My brother and I found a letter that's making us question everything we thought we knew about our family. I'm not sure where else to turn with this, so here goes. My brother Jake, 31 male, and I, 29 female, have been cleaning out our childhood home after our parents passed away in a car accident 6 months ago. It's been incredibly hard, but we thought we were finally making progress. We were going through Dad's old desk in the basement when Jake found a loose floorboard underneath. Hidden beneath it was a small metal box containing some documents and what appears to be a letter our parents wrote but never sent. The date on it is from about 2 years ago. I'm going to paraphrase the letter because I'm still processing it, but essentially, it says, "But we were scared of losing you. Your mother and I aren't your biological parents. We took you in when you were very young, after a family emergency, and we've loved you as our own ever since. The woman you knew as Grandma Helen wasn't actually related to us. She was your real grandmother, and she helped us create this story to protect you both. We kept meaning to tell you when you were older, but time kept passing and it never felt like the right moment. We're so sorry." The letter goes on to mention some names I've never heard before, and references to the incident in Oregon that apparently forced our biological parents to give us up. I'm completely shaken. Jake is handling it better than I am, but we're both confused about what to do next. The people we called Mom and Dad for nearly 30 years apparently weren't even our parents, and Grandma Helen, who passed away when I was 15, she was our actual grandmother this whole time? There are so many questions. Why did our biological parents give us up? What happened in Oregon? Are they still alive? Do we have other family members we don't know about? We found some other papers in the box that look like they might be adoption records or legal documents, but they're hard to read, and some seem unofficial. Has anyone else gone through something like this? How do you even begin to process information like this? Part of me wants to dig deeper, but part of me is terrified of what else we might find. Any advice would be appreciated. I feel like my entire life has been a lie. Edit. Thank you all for the kind words. Jake and I are going to take some time to process this before deciding what to do next. Update 1. We hired a private investigator, and the truth is worse than we imagined. First off, thank you to everyone who reached out after my original post. Your messages really helped us feel less alone in this. Jake and I decided to hire a private investigator to help us make sense of the documents we found. We met with her, let's call her Sarah, yesterday, and what she found has turned our world completely upside down. The incident in Oregon our parents referenced in the letter? It was a house fire that killed our biological parents when I was 3 and Jake was 5. We weren't given up, we were orphaned. But here's where it gets complicated. Grandma Helen wasn't actually our biological grandmother either. She was our biological parents' neighbor who had been watching us the night of the fire. According to the investigator, there was some kind of custody dispute between our biological father's family and our biological mother's family after the accident. Both sides were apparently fighting for custody, and it was getting ugly. Who had grown attached to us somehow ended up taking us in temporarily. The documents in the box suggest that she may have, well, disappeared with us. There are police reports from Oregon dating back 26 years about 2 missing children matching our descriptions. Our adoptive parents, I still don't know what to call them, apparently met Helen when they moved to our hometown. The investigator thinks Helen may have presented us as her grandchildren who needed a home, and our adoptive parents may have believed they were helping in an informal adoption situation. So let me get this straight. Our biological parents died in a fire. A neighbor who we called Grandma essentially kidnapped us to protect us from a custody battle. She then convinced 2 well-meaning people that we needed a home, and they raised us believing they had adopted us properly. Jake and I are both struggling with this. Were we kidnapped victims? Were our adoptive parents innocent? Were they complicit? What happened to our real extended family who were looking for us? The investigators said our case might still be open in Oregon, though it's likely been cold for years. She's reaching out to contacts there to get more information. I don't know how to feel about any of this. The people I called Mom and Dad clearly loved us and gave us a good life, but was our entire existence built on a crime? Okay, update 2. We made contact with our biological family, and I wish we hadn't. I'm writing this from a hotel room because I couldn't stay in our childhood home tonight. Jake is here with me, and we're both pretty messed up. the private investigator was able to track down our biological father's brother in Oregon. His name is David, and he's been looking for us for 26 years. We had a phone call with him this afternoon that lasted almost 3 hours. Here's what we learned. Our biological parents, Michael and Lisa, were both 23 when they died. They had been married for only 2 years. The fire was caused by faulty wiring in their apartment building. No one's fault, just a terrible accident. After they died, there was indeed a custody battle. Our father's family, David and his parents, wanted us. But our mother's parents also wanted custody. Both families hired lawyers, and it was getting nasty, with accusations flying back and forth. During this time, Helen Morrison, who was not our neighbor as we thought, but actually our biological mother's aunt, was supposed to be providing temporary care for us while the courts sorted things out. Instead, she disappeared with us one night. According to David, she left a note saying she was protecting us from being torn apart by family politics, and that she was taking us somewhere safe, where we could grow up without the trauma. The family spent thousands of dollars and years searching for us. They never gave up hope. David said he still had our bedroom set up in his house until just a few years ago. But here's the part that's really messing with my head. David told us that both our biological grandparents died still believing we might be alive somewhere. Our paternal grandmother passed away 5 years ago, and apparently her last words to David were asking him to keep looking for Michael's babies. We also learned we have 2 cousins around our age who grew up knowing about us. David's daughter, our cousin, apparently used to ask every Christmas if the lost cousins would be found in time for the holidays. The guilt is overwhelming. While we were growing up happy and loved, our real family was suffering and searching and grieving not just our parents, but us too. David wants to meet us, and so does the rest of the family. But Jake and I are terrified. How do you meet people who've been mourning you for decades? How do you explain that you had a good life while they were in pain? And what does this make our adoptive parents? They genuinely seem to believe we were Helen's grandchildren who needed a home. The investigator found records showing they tried to make the adoption legal multiple times over the years, but Helen kept making excuses and providing fake documents. Were they victims too? Did they know and choose to ignore it? I keep thinking about all the times moms seemed anxious when we talked about doing family trees for school, or how Dad would change the subject when we asked about extended family. The investigator thinks Helen may have told them just enough truth mixed with lies to make them believe they were doing the right thing, while keeping them from digging too deep. David asked if we want to see photos of our biological parents. I said yes, but now I'm scared to look. What if I see myself in their faces? What if I don't? Jake thinks we should meet the family. I'm not so sure. Our adoptive parents are gone, so we can't ask them what they really knew. Helen died when we were teenagers, so we can't get answers from her either. I feel like I'm grieving multiple losses at once. The parents I thought I knew, the life I thought I lived, and somehow also grieving for biological parents I never got to mourn properly, because I didn't know they existed. Has anyone else discovered their whole life was built on a lie like this? How do you move forward? Do we owe it to our biological family to have a relationship with them? Are we betraying our adoptive parents' memory by pursuing this? I'm so lost. Edit. A lot of people are asking if we're going to pursue legal action. Honestly, we haven't even thought about that. Everyone involved except David and the other biological family members are deceased. What would be the point? Edit 2. Thank you to the people suggesting therapy. We've already reached out to someone who specializes in adoption and family trauma. First appointment is next week. For those asking, yes, we looked at the photos David sent. I have our biological mother's eyes and smile. Jake looks exactly like our father did at his age. It's surreal and heartbreaking and somehow comforting all at once.